At first sight, it was beautiful. It was closed, so I appreciate that. They didn't have to open those slide out. They didn't even leave the key anyway, so that's another thing. But I'm looking at the alignment of this big slide out, which is common. And that's one thing I'll say about NEWMAR. That's what I appreciate and I like about NEWMAR compared to other manufacturers. Meaning, they're the only manufacturer who actually reached out to us. They see our video, they check everything we do, and now they want to kind of know how they can get better. That's called accountability. It's funny, we never had a call from Fleetwood or Thor or, maybe that means something. Just saying.
It's RV inspection day, and today we are in Fleetwood, Pennsylvania. And look what we're inspecting today, a NEWMAR SUPERSTAR 4059. This is a 2023, and we are looking forward to getting inside and seeing what we find. So stick around, we're gonna update you at lunch and the end of the day.
All right, first glimpse, SUPERSTAR. Life is all about you, meaning it's 100% your responsibility to look after, to check after the things you're going to inquire, the things that you already have. Don't trust and rely on people to help you out and wait for them to solve your problem. That will never happen. So on that note, this is how I look at a unit. Yes, we've seen a lot of them, so we're kind of familiar with what to look for. At first sight, it was beautiful. It was closed, so I appreciate that. They didn't have to open those slide out. But I'm looking at the alignment of this big slide out, which is common. And that's one thing I'll say about NEWMAR. That's what I appreciate and I like about NEWMAR compared to other manufacturers. Meaning, they're the only manufacturer who actually reached out to us. They see our video, they check everything we do, and now they want to kind of know how they can get better. That's called accountability. It's funny, we never had a call from Fleetwood or Thor or, maybe that means something. Just saying. This alignment needs to be addressed. So as you can see, the next thing's going to happen in this rear end. This will pop out because now it's almost sitting down on my trim. So it's alignment, which needs to be done. I don't quite know the story on this unit because this is 5,400 miles. I already checked into that. Was it already owned? Is it been doing shows? I don't know. We walked in there and it smelled pretty good. I don't think it's never been lived into it. So we might have traveled a couple of different dealerships and it ended up here, and this customer is on it. And if and when we give him the okay or a list, a laundry list to be addressed, he'll decide if he's taking it or not. I got good hope for this because whatever we would find, NEWMAR would take care of it anyway from what we've seen with experience. So hopefully that helps. And that gives you a guideline. Like I said, the only manufacturer who actually reached out to us is NEWMAR. Keep that in mind. So now let's get to work. We'll see you at lunchtime.
So come on in, let's see my first glimpse and my stow and go. Now you didn't even look. You got to look down to make sure you don't trip. Now, do you see this hole right there? That was the first thing that we see walking in the door today, is the hole right into the floor. But come on in. The rest of it, I've not really seen anything, but the good thing about the stow and go is I can get to the half bath, which is great. And I can also get to my bed. Now, if I want to roll over the bed, I can get to my shower. I also have access to my refrigerator and all of my kitchen stuff. And as you can see, I can actually walk right past the booth dinette, by my recliners, and get right to the front and serve my driver. Yes, coffee, tea, or me, you know, it's just like being a stewardess. But you know I hate flying, so I would never do that. Wheels on the ground. But I've got one more thing that I just want to point out to you. There's not an issue, but if you come over here, Pierre came in, he was looking at this cover right here. Now, it just pops off. If for some reason this were to ever pop off while driving, it would actually get stuck in your slide and could easily ruin your slide. So if you have this same scenario, just keep this in mind and keep your eyes on that to make sure that it never does fall. And as I've said before, it's like the cooktop, right? So you've got your microwave here, but if things get rattling and opening and this glass comes falling out and lands on top of your cooktop, what do you think's going to happen? In this scenario, you've got the covers, which is fantastic. But we have friends that didn't have this situation. It shattered the microwave glass and it shattered their induction oven. That's a lot of money. So if you don't have something that covers your induction, make sure you get them on Etsy or something like that. They build those wooden covers so it can protect everything. Always think about the things that can be destroyed when you're driving down the road, because you know these roads in the US, they're not very smooth. So stick around and we'll see you at the end of the day.
All right, lunchtime recap. And for those who trying to figure still why I do this, tell me in the description below. Give me a comment. What do you think? I'm still surprised that some people that's been following us, you still don't know what this does. By the way, you stick to the end of this video. I've got something I want to talk to you about that you might have an interest into. It's going to give you an idea of what to look forward to when you're buying an RV. For now, we're back to our sheeps. And I don't know if I'm the wolf or the guard dog, but again, I gotta go get a flashlight.
They grease the tires.
They grease the tires, she says. So my wife had to check the tires just to make sure to dirty your hands.
No, this is what I was doing.
Look at her.
I was looking in the mirror. I was checking that. You know how you make your nose really big on Christmas bulbs like this? And I stuck my hand on the tire.
I live with that. So as she was there, she should have showed you already.
The valve stem?
There's no valve stem. It's a pencil stem. So you're gonna need a valve stem. You were leaving when? Just checking. the service guy told me. He just ordered them this morning, so they've known about this. So you were leaving this morning? Good one. I'm on my slide out here. We've had this before. We've seen this before. So what I do is I go up here, and as Laurel is with me, I got my radio. I tell her to open the slide out. Oh, I'm not gonna see it because it's open. Oh yeah, you're right. So right here, I don't have the ramp. So you know what? We're gonna have to video that when I bring him in. So we'll show you. See, this track should be there. All right, so right now we're going here in the front of this. So at the front of this slide, as much as on the other side as well, I have the same problem. So they probably have a new suppliers of screws, because I've got screws coming out the floor here. No, I'm gonna call it, sorry, I'm gonna retract this. I'm gonna call it sharp objects, not screws. So let's go on the other side. So same with this slide out. So on this slide out, I'm gonna have the same problem. And now I have screws that are sticking out here. So they're already through. No, not screws, sharp object. So the problem with the sharp object is they will cut off and rip off your bulb seal. Things to check. Talking about this slide out, I have a problem with this slide out because this slide out is actually coming out like this. So being on top, I see my slide out topper being loose at that end and tight on this end. So you know that it's not square from the wall. So that's what happened. So this slide out is actually pulling sideways like this. So I go inside. Let's go inside, I'll show you. So this is a slide out we just looked at outside. This side is already tight. This side is like this, so it's coming like this. Show you. Here's my hand. I can barely fit my fingers in there. And here's my hand where I can fit my wrist in there. So this slide out is not tight on this corner and it's tight on that corner. It's never a problem. They're always going to adjust it. Why did this end up like this out of the plant? QC? PDI? I don't know. You tell me. All right, so on that note, I am going to tell you what I think a little bit later at the end of the day. I think I got a tip that you might appreciate. Let's go check what Laurel has inside. See you at the end of the day.
So it's lunchtime, and I have just a few little things to share with you. I love being in here. Like I said before, this right here is my favorite feature, where you can actually get in there and get all the little fingerprints off that kids would probably love to do, all on this. And I'm happy to say that all my mirrors are attached underneath there. But I have a couple of things I want to share with you on the floor. So we do have some slide roller marks right over there, right in front of the booth dinette. So there's definitely a little issue going on with the slide inside here for me. But then coming over here to the dishwasher, which just barely finished doing its load, if you come underneath here, you're going to see gouges. It's not soft, nothing's soft there, so it's not like it's a water leak, but there's definitely gouges, so someone had a hard time installing it? I don't know. The other problem I have is this door right here. This door opens nicely, but when it's time to close it, it won't close. You can push these buttons down. I pushed this forward, and then I had to get this lined up just right so that I can close it. Definitely needs an adjustment there. So I'm getting ready to do my water this afternoon. Save the best for last. I just finished my convection. You know, it's probably the second microwave that actually came up to 350 degrees in the convection, which always surprises me. I never understand that convection bake stuff, but this one, 350 degrees. So have you seen our perks? Check it out in the description below. So we'll see you at the end of the day.
End of the day recap. Enough of the sun, not that it's that bad. I mean, we're in Pennsylvania in August. What do you expect? 70 degrees is about the warmest they get. Now they'll say we have 1 or 2 weeks at 90. So overall, let's put it this way. The customer surprised us this afternoon, showed up at about, I'd say 1:30 or 2 o'clock. And he wanted to see the visu, what we were finding. And as he was coming, which I didn't know, I already gave a call into him, telling him what I'm looking at, if this was a deal breaker, because definitely he's going back to NEWMAR. This is a NEWMAR issue that people in here might not have the tool and the capacity and the understanding or even wanted to take the risk, because it's probably under warranty anyway. Long story short, we got a lot of problems with this super slide out. Yes, there's always problem with the super slide out. That's just because it should have been, I'm trying to be nice here, it should have been right the first time. This only have 5,400 miles. Actually, now we know the story, came from California to here, was owned over there for a couple of days. You know, somebody who looked at this, brought it to his wife, and his wife said, no, I don't like this. This is way too small. Let's get a real one. So that's another one of them. Second owner, but no mileage on the first one of Wody. It only had 2,400 miles when it left California, made it here. Now it's 5,400. So enough shakedown to find things, but this slide out is particularly interesting. So the customer, we went through it, and he's going to look at to NEWMAR. What is NEWMAR going to do for him on this? And now he's going to negotiate with them, because then it becomes a, ooh, I got to take time to go there. See, that's the tool that you need. This is why you need an inspection by somebody reputable that could give you a laundry list of real things that you've got to look at. Not somebody who makes you feel good at the end of the day, that he spent half a day, charged you $1,000 and said, oh, you're all good to go. And then the surprises and the article in some magazine that we see of, oh, how inspectors suck because they don't do what they're supposed to do. Those articles are somewhat right, because a lot of people don't know what they're supposed to do, or there's a lack of knowledge. So remember, no one is coming to save you. This life is 100% your responsibility for you to make the right call. So if you remember, undercarriage everything other than my shirt. My wife just told me I ruined my shirt. But other than that, undercarriage was perfect, flawless. They didn't hit nothing. I only have a problem with the water pump. The water pump constantly worked. No big deal, you're gonna tell me. But I just happened to hear it because she was inside, was running the water. And I can hear that water pump never stopping. These are pretty well insulated, so you don't hear the pump when you're inside. Well, I heard it from the outside constantly. Problem to be fixed will be fixed. I hope I talked about my front cap being broken on each corner. If not, because my wife is going like this, which I thought I did this morning, but maybe I didn't. So if I didn't, well, here's the deal. So as I went on this roof cap this morning, I'm walking to my roof, sure as end up in the front, both sides. Seen this before, haven't we? Maybe it's a typical thing on some of those year, so I can't blame the manufacturer, but I can blame who's making those caps. So there's definitely a common trait on that one. So if you don't go on your roof, you'll never know. So just buy it and go. That's another justification why you need an inspection. I know people don't like that, but that's why we do what we do, to promote inspection. On that note, here's what I promised you earlier. So we have 2 lives to live. The second one starts when you realize you only have one. Bring that home. Let's go check what Laurel has inside on this one.
So it's the end of the day, and I've got to say, I've had a great day in here. This unit is absolutely beautiful. Now it's used. We didn't realize this, and I'm still trying to find where it's used, but it is. I did find a few things in the bathroom, so come on in here and I'll show you. It's nothing big and it's not huge at all whatsoever. I will say my shower didn't leak, but the toilet seat is quite loose. Okay, yeah, they need to adjust it. But we have this new thing on the wall. This flushes the toilet if you wave your hand in front of it. But see how it's lit? Something's wrong and it's not. The only way is to actually push and flush. But the half bathroom, it actually works. You just wave your hand and it flushes. It's amazing, all these little things that technology bring to make our lives so much easier, to just flush a toilet at the wave of a hand. So it really is a beautiful unit, and that's all I can say. I've not had anything catastrophic. NEWMAR on the inside, for me, has done a great job on this unit. If you haven't subscribed, make sure to hit subscribe, give us a thumbs up, and leave us a comment. And if you think you're subscribed, just double check, because we've been told some people have been unsubscribed by YouTube. So double check on that. So as I flush this video, I'd rather own a little and see the world than to own the world and see very little of it. So on that note, remember and do never forget,
it's not about the destination. It's all about the journey.